Thank you so much. I am normally on the radio at this point in the morning reading off a script, but I get to speak to all of you this morning, so thank you so much for making the time to come here today. I am not going to talk to you about the glamorous life where I get to embarrass people like Marcus Smith on air every morning. I'm talking to you about something that maybe a lot of you don't know about, maybe have never heard about, in that I wasn't born with this face, which is a little bit creepy, isn't it? Yeah. I was born with something called long face syndrome, which is real. You can Google it. It meant that basically what I thought was a normal functioning face actually didn't work. I couldn't chew my food, I couldn't eat at all, couldn't even breathe through my nose. So all those workouts that Marcus then punished me with were twice as hard, I have to say. But I decided at the age of 25 to do something about it. I was told from probably the age of 6 that I would need to do something about it, that no endless amount of braces or orthodontics or anything Ugly Betty style really wouldn't actually work for me, that I would have to undergo surgery. And not just one, but 5. I've been through 5 surgeries in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, which Marcus has heard the ins and outs of, and which I want to describe to you today. For 3 specific reasons, actually. The first of all is that I believe that we were all joined more by our similarities and we are separated by our differences, in that maybe not all of you have undergone something that I have, but there are maybe tones or themes or angles which resonate with you, which I believe that you may be able to pick up on today. Also, the fact that we all hate the dentist. It's probably a shared dislike that we can just start with now. Secondly, I'd like to encourage you to own your story. There are bits and pieces of my story that are S-H-I-T, just to be really clear about it. It hasn't been all butterflies and unicorns for me, but own your story. There are good and bad aspects to life, and that sort of relates to the first bit, which is that we're all joined by our similarities and we are separated by our differences. And third of all, I'd really like you to not take pity on me, because I'm 27 now, and I've had my limitations and any sort of constricting views on myself and what I can do absolutely smash out of the ballpark. I am really, really lucky, not just because of the surgeons that I had, not just because of the care that I had, but really because how far can I go? That's really the question for me now, not what am I holding myself back from. So, what is long face syndrome? Well, it's a long, narrow face. If you were to look at me sort of 3 years ago, I didn't really look much different to I look now. Little bits and pieces if you were to pick apart and pull apart everything. But essentially, my bite didn't work. I couldn't chew my food. And I just thought that that was normal. But I got to the age of 25 where I just thought, there's got to be a better way to live than this. And I think that it had sort of all come at the right time. 5 years ago, I had that call with Marcus, but it was probably another 2 years from then when the cogs, the wheels were really in motion for me to be at the right place and the right time for me to be able to embark on this journey. And I really didn't realize the magnitude of it, first of all. So I won't go into anything too squirmish, because I know a lot of people aren't sort of au fait with medical stuff. But basically, over the course of just under 2 years, I had 5 surgeries, the first one of which they expanded my upper palate by 11 millimeters. So people say gaps are sexy. 11 millimeters is a little bit hard to sort of sexify, really, when you can't really eat with it, you can't drink with it, because it all comes back out your mouth through the hole. So I went through that. I was on a liquid diet and a soft food diet for the better part of 18 months or so, which meant that all the gains that I made with Marcus were lost completely, which is always a challenge. I had my wisdom teeth out. I had bone grafts. The big one, though, was in November of 2013. And by this stage, I had reached, I guess, a real clarity in the reason why I had started the journey. The first 2 surgeries I really didn't tell anyone about. I wanted it to be over straight away, and I didn't want anyone to sort of remember me for my old face, and I wanted to hide away and just be able to come out into the world like a butterfly, and then the world would grant me all of the riches in life and everything would be fine and happy and well, and it doesn't happen like that, does it? No. So I wanted to hide away, but I eventually learned that you really need the support of others, which took me a while because I've really learned that I am a bit of an introverted person, so I don't like to ask for help. And that's the other thing. Don't take pity on me. I have learned so much about myself. Hours in hospital, hours to think about yourself, hours to contemplate why you're putting yourself through something really gives you a mental clarity as to why you're doing something in life and where you want to go next. So that, for me, is a privilege. But I eventually got to the stage where my fourth surgery back, as I mentioned, in November of 2013, ended up being the biggie. It was a 7-hour surgery. I had 2 blood transfusions. They moved around both of my jaws, my cheeks, and my chin. So really massive, we're talking extreme makeover, almost sort of stuff. And I remember waking up in ICU, and they had said, you're going to be sedated, you'll be with a lot of drugs, so you won't really feel anything, so you'll be fine. And I remember waking up, and I can see the neon lights as I look up now, like it is here, and everyone around me saying, Anna, are you okay? And I thought, oh, it's over. Okay, well, that's all right. And then I thought, liars, lying, because it hurt a lot. And I thought, that's not fair. I've just been laying on the table for the last 7 hours, and gosh, this hurts. And a lot of expletives as well. But I remember then being passed a pen, and they said, write something if you can't speak, because I was all swollen. I looked like a bowling ball, really. It wasn't that bad, but, it's sort of a little bit sad. And I remember basically writing on a piece of paper, do I look beautiful? Because I was all sort of drugged up. And they couldn't read my handwriting, and they said, oh, she thinks she's a butterfly. Isn't that hilarious? Yeah. So no end of frustrations there. But I was back at work 2.5 weeks later. From there, I had one final surgery that happened just in April of last year, so almost actually a year ago to date. I've still got 7 teeth implants to go. I'm speaking to you now without a full set of teeth, which has been a big learning curve, having to get up in front of audiences like you and overcome that fear. But really, if there's anything that you can take from my story, short and sweet as it is, I am very lucky. I've stretched my limitations as far as they can go, but I can still go further. I know that because I will survive. It didn't kill me. I know that perhaps there are some similarities in my story that will resonate with you today. And I hope that from that, you can really own your story. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the brilliant. Everything is out there to be shared. You've got one life. Own your story. Thank you.